By now, you've seen the headlines screaming that the Las Vegas housing market is flooded. Prices are crashing. Panic is setting in. But here's the truth. Those headlines are lying to you. And I'm not just telling you, I'm going to show you. I mean, I'm out here every week with buyers and sellers, and what I'm seeing tells a very different story. In this video, we're going to uncover the truth behind those inventory numbers. We're going to explain why the prices are not collapsing. And we're going to also show you how this market actually creates opportunities on both sides of the table. Hi, my name's Micah Bleecher, and I make videos about what it's like to live, downsize, and retire in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I help people make that happen. So if you're actually thinking about buying or selling in Las Vegas right now, you need the facts and not the hype. So let's dig in. Now, the news outlets are pumping out negative headlines because that is what gets clicks and that is what gets views. But what I'm seeing in the Las Vegas market is just about the opposite of what the headlines are saying. Yes, the number of homes on the market have increased from a couple of years ago. It's just now starting to get into a balanced market. But just look at these headlines. Homes are flooding onto the market as retirees leave and investors cash out. Are retirees leaving? That's not what I'm seeing. Homes for sale are soaring. Las Vegas is flooded with homes that people don't want to buy. Look at these headlines. Am I saying that all these headlines are wrong? Yeah, that actually is what I'm saying. We're going to talk about what the real numbers are and the real data is underneath these headlines. In fact, when I read these articles, it looks like they're all just writing articles off of reading each other's articles. It's not really giving you a true picture of what's happening in the Las Vegas market. The reality is that buyers are still coming. Demand is still strong for what we have here. And I'm going to show you the real numbers behind what's going on in the Las Vegas market. And that brings us to talking point number one, friends, and that is the flood of inventory. What a myth of missing context. Just what do the inventory headlines say about the real estate inventory in Las Vegas? How much has inventory actually increased year over year? How does the current supply level compare to the pre-pandemic years of 2019? Yeah, I've got the actual stats from 2019 as well. Yes, thankfully listings are up significantly since last year, about 36.8%. Around this time last year, we had 2 months of inventory available on the market, and this year right now we've got about 3.9 months. This is the best inventory we've seen for buyers in years. The key piece of missing context, and all of those articles, they don't even discuss it, is that the inventory last year and the year before were at historic lows, and that's unsustainable. Our current inventory levels are still way below the pre-pandemic market of 2019. We currently have less than a 4-month supply of single-family homes on the market. A 5 or 6 month supply is considered a perfectly balanced market between buyers and sellers. This is not a flood, it's a normalization. We're moving from a frantic seller's market where maybe your home might have sold the first day you put it on the market with multiple offers towards a healthy, balanced one. The market is stabilizing. But I read these news articles and I really have to wonder where they're getting their information from. I mean, I'm out there every day. Sometimes I'm in the same house multiple times. I get people call me about a house and I'll go, yeah, I was in that 3 times last week. What would you like to know about it? But it makes me wonder. And so I do some cursory checks, right? People say that houses are flooding the market. So it's not what I'm seeing. I mean, I looked up on the MLS today. I see these headlines. They go on for pages, and so I don't know where they're getting their data from. They're not getting it from applied analysis. The data that I use is from applied analysis. It's Jeremy Aguirre's company. They're a statistical data analytical company, and they are the trusted source of data in Las Vegas. And I don't know where everyone else is getting their numbers from, but they're not accurate compared to applied analysis, and I know they do the numbers there. That's what they do. And so when I hear that the listings are flooding the market, I'm going like, well, where are they? I actually go and do a lookup on my MLS. In fact, today I looked up on the MLS. I wanted to see this flood of inventory for myself. As of today in Sun City Anthem, there out of 7,200 homes, there are currently 114 homes available, and that includes all of the patio homes. That's 1.5% availability in that neighborhood. Sun City Summerlin, there are 7,800 homes in the neighborhood. There's 191 homes for sale, and that includes patio homes. 2.45% of the neighborhood is for sale. Not much of a flood. I checked out Sienna. It's another 55 plus community in Summerlin, very popular. Got about 2,000 homes there. How many homes are for sale in Sienna? 37. 1.85% of the neighborhood is for sale. Wow, what a flood. Better start building an ark. And we'll get the reporters on there, we're 2x2, and get them on that arc. Okay, those are the 55 plus neighborhoods. What about a few others? And these are numbers right out of the MLS. Piccoli Ranch, that's a regular neighborhood. I used to live there, built in the 80s. Some people think it's a bit dated. It's not a fancy neighborhood. It's a nice family neighborhood. I loved it when we lived there. We lived there 15 years. There's around 3,000 homes in Piccoli Ranch. As of today, 33 of them are for sale. 33 out of 3,000. It's like 1.1%. Red Rock Country Club. Okay, now let's go up into the luxury homes, because we know luxury homes take longer to sell. We hear this luxury home market is also stabilizing out there, which is true. So now we're going to Red Rock Country Club, where the prices are much higher. There's not as many homes in Red Rock Country Club. There's only about 1,100 homes approximately. Out of 1,100 homes, it's a higher percentage, 37 are for sale. They're very expensive homes, and at that price, they do take a bit longer to sell. I remember a couple of years ago shopping in there, and there were about 11 homes for sale. There was nothing in there for my buyers to look at. Let's go up in price even more in Summerlin. The Ridges, one of the best neighborhoods in town. Very expensive home, multiple millions of dollars. I think the lowest home price in the Ridges for a single family home is around $2 million. Well, out of 850 homes, 29 of them are for sale, 3.41%. So at the higher levels where they're very expensive, there is a little bit more inventory than at the lower end, at least in the few examples I looked at today. So based on these numbers, inventory is not flooding the market. If anything, most of these communities are still showing tight or balanced inventory. I mean, last year we had an unnaturally low number of homes for sale. There was nothing on the market. So the percentage of increase from an extremely low number seems like a flood, because the difference between the two small numbers look dramatic. It's like going from 1 cookie to 2 cookies and claiming that your cookie supply grew to 100%, which it did. It's technically true, but it's misleading. You only have 2 cookies. The more important comparison is to a normal market. When we look at our total number of active listings right now, we are still well below the numbers we had back in 2019. We aren't flooded. We're simply refilling a pool that was nearly empty. There's more availability in condos because they're soft right now. Why are the condos soft? Well, for a number of reasons. There are fewer condos that banks will loan on now. They reevaluate which condominium complexes they'll loan money on. And they've removed a few from the list because they didn't like how the reserves looked, or one investor bought more than 50% of the units, or they have too much litigation. Those are the 3 main reasons that a bank won't loan on a condo. And so they've removed a number of the larger condo units from being able to borrow money on. We still only have just over 5 months of inventory in the condo market, even though I consider that pretty soft. We're not even at a completely balanced market yet. We're as close as we've been in about 5 years. You know, as an agent that works a lot with buyers, this makes me very happy. Now I have a significant amount of homes to show you when you come here. So if the market isn't truly flooded, then prices must be crashing, right? Well, that's the other part of the fib we need to talk about. And that brings us to talking point number 2, the price crash that isn't happening. Just what are the clickbait headlines claiming about the Las Vegas home prices? What is the median home price in Las Vegas, and how has it changed over last year? And what is the historical significance of the median home price that we have right now? Now, according to Zillow, the average home value is $434,234. Now, this is up 0.9% over last year. Prices are not falling. Now, the median sales price for a home in Southern Nevada is $480,000, which is just under our all-time record high of $485,000. So we are seeing a little bit of fluctuation in the market. We're seeing stabilization, a slower rise in prices, maybe even reaching their peak. I don't know. Now, days on market have increased from an average of about 37 days to 56 days. Homes are taking a little bit longer to sell, and that requires patience, not panic. Still, even with the market stabilization that we're seeing right now, over 54% of the homes sold in 30 days or less. Another 23% sold from 31 to 60 days, and 11% sold from 61 to 90 days. So about 89% of all the homes are selling in 90 days or less. That's still a pretty hot market. The market is absorbing the inventory without prices collapsing, which shows genuine market demand. Now, the flip side of the fear narrative between inventory flooding is that prices are collapsing, that they're in some sort of free fall. And again, that is absolutely not what the data shows. That's not what I'm seeing in my experience. Prices are not collapsing. They're holding firm right at their peak or stabilizing. What has changed is the timeline. A year or two, a new listing may have sold over the weekend. Now the average time on market is closer to 56 days. This is a return to normalcy. thankfully. It means that sellers can't just name any price and expect a bidding war. It also means that buyers have time to breathe and make a considered decision. This isn't the sign of a crash, it's the sign of a healthy, functioning market where negotiation is part of the process. But even with the extra inventory, if a home is a good house, well prepared and presented, and priced correctly, it moves quickly. I still see occasional multiple offer situations. I was working with clients about a month ago and they weren't 100% prepared to make an offer. They were working on it, and the home that they really fell in love with got purchased right out from under them. So you have time to breathe, but if it's a good house, don't expect it to last. If you like it, there's a good chance someone else out there does. And this shift has created a very different environment for sellers from what they experienced just a few years ago. So let's break down what you need to know if you're thinking about listing your home. And that brings us to talking point number 3, the new reality for sellers. Is it still a good time to sell a home in Las Vegas? What's the single biggest mistake a seller can make in this market? How has the negotiation process changed? The market is no longer doing all the work for you. It's not 2021. Overpricing your home is the fastest way to ensure that it sits on the market. Homes priced correctly from day one are the ones that are selling quickly. I always say the 3 Ps: pricing, packaging, and presentation. That's what sells a home. Buyers are making reasonable offers, and sellers are more open to negotiating on price, repairs, and even seller concessions to help with closing costs. Well-maintained homes in popular neighborhoods, especially those priced under $500,000, are still seeing strong interest in moving relatively quickly. Success now requires proper preparation, professional marketing, and realistic pricing strategy. I mean, if you're a seller, the game has changed. It was just a few years ago you could put a sign up in the yard, not even clean your house, and get multiple offers over the asking price within 48 hours. Those days are gone, and that's a good thing for the long-term health of the market. The biggest mistake that I see sellers making is pricing their home based on what their neighbor got in 2022. Almost always that strategy will backfire. Buyers are more discerning than ever, and they now have more options than they've ever had before. If your home is overpriced, they'll simply move on to the next one. And they have more tools than they had just 3 years ago. Think about it. I work with older buyers, and they know how to run property information through artificial intelligence and get really good data from them. They know what your home is worth. A buyer might ask you for credit for repairs or ask you to even cover some of their closing costs. Now, this isn't an insult. It's a normal part of a balanced market. You still hold a valuable asset and prices are at record highs. You just have to be more of a partner with the process now. The market isn't working against you, it just expects you to participate. Now, while sellers need to adjust their strategy, this new market dynamic has created a huge window of opportunity for buyers. Here's what you need to understand. And that brings us to talking point number 4, the golden window for buyers. Is this a good time to buy a home in Las Vegas? I get that question a lot, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute. What specific advantages do buyers have now that they didn't have 2 years ago? Does more inventory mean you can lowball every offer? Buyers have more leverage than at any price point since 2019. You can now negotiate on things like inspections, repairs, and seller contributions towards your interest rate buy-down, or even closing costs. More homes on the market mean more choices and less pressure to make a frantic decision. Now, to be clear, the best listings still go very quickly. A good house priced correctly is going to sell. It's not going to sit for months. You still need to be prepared to act decisively when you find the right one. Now, this balance of choice and stable pricing creates an opportunity to find a home you love without overpaying in a bidding war. I mean, if you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy, your moment has arrived. For the first time in years, you've got both choice and leverage. You can actually look at multiple properties and compare your options. You can make a decision without the intense pressure of a dozen other offers coming in. You can perform a full home inspection and actually ask the seller to provide repairs or credits. Now, these were luxuries just a couple of years ago. Now, that doesn't mean you can just throw out a ridiculous lowball offer on every property. The best homes are still commanding strong prices. But it does mean you can negotiate. You can ask the seller to help buy down your interest rate, which could save you hundreds of dollars a month. You can craft a deal that works for your financial situation. It's the most balanced, buyer-friendly market we've seen in Las Vegas for a long time. It's a market that rewards smart, prepared buyers. So this balanced market is a good thing for both buyers and sellers, which is why the constant flooded market narrative we see online is not just wrong, it's actively harmful. And that brings us to talking point number 5, why the flooded market lie is so dangerous. Who benefits from pushing fear-based real estate narratives? How does this misinformation hurt potential buyers? How does it harm potential sellers? The crash narrative always generates clicks and views, and that benefits the media companies, it benefits influencers, even companies like Zillow, it benefits, but not consumers. It causes potential buyers to wait on the sidelines for a potential crash which is not supported by the data. For some, it'll mean missing out on home ownership while rents continue to rise. And for others, even though you're sitting on that sideline, the clock still keeps on ticking. It makes potential sellers believe they've completely missed the boat and they won't get a good price, preventing them from making a move that'll benefit them and their family. This fear-based paralysis freezes what should be a healthy market, preventing good deals from happening on both sides. The best defense is to ignore national headlines and work with a local expert who can provide you with real-time data, neighborhood-specific data, so that you can make your best decisions. Most of my clients have purchased many houses. They know how to buy a house. I give them the information, they make good decisions. And it's important, whoever you choose, they need to give you good data so that you can make the best informed decision you can. For me, the only reason this flooded market fib is being pushed so hard is simply to generate clicks and views. It's a business model, but it does have real-world consequences for people like you. It tricks real-world buyers into waiting for a 2008 style crash that just isn't coming. The data doesn't support it. They either sit on the sidelines paying ever-increasing rent, paying someone else's mortgage instead of their own, and miss their chance to start building equity, or they sit on the sidelines and wait while time goes by when they could have made a decision and have gotten from point A to point B where they need to be, where they feel they need to be. At a certain point in our lives, time becomes more valuable than the money we can make or save by making a move. People ask me, Micah, is it a good time to buy a house? And I ask them, well, I don't know. Do you need a house? I mean, every human being needs shelter. Are you renting or buying? Is your house where you want it to be? Can you move your house? No, okay, then you have to move. Is now a good time to buy the house? I don't know. How much time do you have? I mean, in life, I might answer that one way for one person and a different way for another person, depending on what their personal needs are. The truth is the Las Vegas market is not flooded. It's not crashing, it's normalizing, it's stabilizing. And a normal and stable market is a place where smart, strategic people can achieve their goals. The Las Vegas market is full of opportunity right now, but only if you can ignore all the hype and focus on the facts. If you're ready to have an honest conversation about your specific situation, whether you're buying or selling, I'm here to be your resource. All of my contact information is in the description below. My name's Micah Bleecher, and I'm always here to help you find the perfect place to call home. Send me a call or give me a text and we can build a real strategy based on data and not fear. And now that you know the truth about the overall market, it's time to see what retirement is really like in Las Vegas. In my next video, The Brutal Reality of Retiring in Las Vegas, I uncover the challenges, the hidden costs, and realities most people don't find out about until it's too late. Click right here and I will see you there. Peace out, friends. Love you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. See you on the next video.